And I don't know why that was up there, but good morning. And I wish you all an amazing Sunday morning and hopefully the best morning of your life. I'm going to do my very best to try to shed some positivity as we look at some of the issues going on around freedom and the Freedom Convoy and the Commission and a whole bunch of stuff. So for the first time in a while, I'm streaming to everywhere just to let everybody know, just because tickets have been going out and a bunch of people have been asking me. So I figured let's get everybody aware and knowing, and we're not going to overuse the Instagram thing too much, but we'll do a little bit. So good morning. And I do hope this is the best morning of your life, or at least the best Sunday morning of your life, or at least the best Sunday morning of your life this week. We've been doing, for those of you on Instagram who have been watching, on the main streams, which is youtube.com/BJD online or honkingforfreedom.locals.com, we've been focusing on positive framing. So a lot of this stuff that we deal with in terms of Freedom Convoy, freedom in general, some of the political nonsense that we're dealing with, and I don't want to get all political, we've been working on on how to maintain a positive frame, which is, I apparently have two strengths. I can maintain a positive frame, and I'm apparently very good at compartmentalizing. So I'm doing my best to try to help all of you through it so we don't sit in this state of anxiety, and we focus on that one word we all love, which is, backwards on those two machines, freedom. And I think that's the way we move forward, and we saw that with the Freedom Convoy, that when we focused on peace and love and coming together, we had people from across the political spectrum all engaging and supporting and getting involved just because of the positive vibes. So, yeah, that's I think that's important. So I've been going through the 5-minute journal, and if you look at my last two streams online on my YouTube, Good Morning Megan, the 5-minute journal really focused on those two. You start your day with those two questions, right? What are 3 things you're grateful for to get you to shift into a state of being gracious and being thankful? And then the question number 2, what are the 3 things you're going to do to make today an amazing day? And if you start every day that way, it kind of forces you into that sphere where you have to focus on what's being positive. So I'm going to continue a little bit, and then we're going to shift over just to the main feeds, which are Honking for Freedom and YouTube. So if you're on Instagram, then you'll want to switch over to youtube.com/BJD online. My initials and the word online. One word, no hyphenate, nothing, no nothing. But I wanted to just get the word out here to you guys as well. So the first live event, and it looks like there's going to be a few of them because we're getting requests from everywhere from Texas, California, British Columbia, Quebec, a couple of in Ontario, whatever. So there's a number of like book launch events or get-together events or whatever you want to call it that we're doing. And so we've posted them. The first set of tickets for people that they could purchase are for people who are subscribing to honkingforfreedom.locals.com. So if you go to honkingforfreedoms.local.com, there is a post that's for, supporters of it. And if you click on there, then you can order a ticket to the first live event, which is November 7th, which will be after my testimony in the commission, which I'm going to discuss in a couple of minutes on the main feed. So good news. This is awesome. We sold a bunch of tickets. It's awesome. I'm so excited to see a whole bunch of you and get together and hang out and for all intents purposes, break bread and hang out with each other. Really excited for that. So that's going to be on the 7th. So a week tomorrow, I guess, is when that is. And that's going to be in Toronto. And we are also looking at something potentially in Wallaceburg, Ontario, and then, out of province. And I don't know. We're going to put a list of venues, and they will be on the honkingforfreedom.com website, which is also where you can pre-order the book, Honking for Freedom, the trucker convoy that gave us hope. And you'll be able to see the list of dates there. So Yeah, good news. Everything's great. We got some of the expenses already covered from some of the ticket sales, so thank you, everybody. Look forward to seeing you. And if you're on Instagram, then shift over to YouTube or honkingforfreedom.locals.com, and I'm going to continue moving on and discussing the commission and what's happening in Ottawa. Oh, and if you're in Ottawa and you're watching, I'm going to be speaking at an event on on November the 1st, so 2 days from now. And I'm going to explain my crazy schedule on the thing. So I'll be speaking there, and then I'm going to be testifying the next day or 2 days after. It keeps changing, and I'll go into further detail on that on the mainstream. So everybody, Instagram, I love you all. I'm going to shift over because I need to use one of these phones right now anyways while I'm doing my stream. And I love you all, and thank you all for the support and love you've given. And don't forget, honkingforfreedom.com is where you can pre-order the book about our experience at the Freedom Convoy. All right, let's shut down Instagram, and now we're going to move over to the rest of you in the mainstream, and hopefully that stays. You know what? I hope you guys don't mind. I know this is riveting live streaming, but I do have to post this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to post the, what am I going to do? Which should I post for Instagram? One of them I'll do my YouTube channel so people know where to go. So that's going to be on the Honking for Freedom. I know this is boring. Just post your comments there. I'm going to read them in a second. I'm sure you guys all have a bunch of questions because this week is the week where people involved in the Freedom Convoy get to take the stand. So it should be pretty interesting, and I'm sure you all have lots of questions, and just put them in there. So peace, love. I'm just trying to figure the hashtags that I like to use, which are the taglines for the Freedom Convoy. So peace, love, unity, and freedom. So let's put that out there so everybody knows. Okay, good. That's one Instagram, because of course you can't have one. You have to have multiple. Ugh. So, ow, snapped my finger on that thing. Megan, Ronald, good. So what is happening in Canada regarding what happened last February? Okay, so while I'm posting this, I'll explain it. When the Emergency Act, this is interesting, reading and talking and typing at the same time. The Emergency Act, that when it was invoked to crush the convoy, because remember, we had in Ottawa, they had a bunch of trucks parked illegally because, well, you can't have that, right? So they brought in martial law to remove these trucks that were parked illegally because, you know, a parking ticket doesn't work, apparently. And nobody from the government even bothered to come speak with us. So they just went full Super Saiyan crazy on the truckers. So when they invoked martial law or the Emergency Measures Act, there's something written in law that they have to hold a commission to investigate everything that went on. And so that's what they're doing. So they waited as long as they could to actually announce the commission and appoint the justice who oversees it. It's supposed to be done within 60 days. They did it on the 58th or 59th day, whatever it was. And I don't know. And now they're pressed for time because they have to have this commission ready. The report has to be done for March. And I remember thinking like, well, you had May, June, July, August, like, what about those months, right? But I guess they were preparing, my understanding. But I don't know. I only found out about this commission in August because, you know, I got to work. I got to work like a regular person. I just can't sit around on the internet and follow what's going on in Ottawa. So it is what it is. So that's what's happening in Canada now. So for the first couple of weeks, it was all the police and the bureaucracy who were testifying, who were throwing each other under the bus. Many of them, you know, I made the statement that they're all lying. they're all lying in certain capacity, right? There's always a little bit of truth to what they were saying. So it is what it is. But this week is the week that we start to testify. So let me double back first. So this Monday, somebody was asking about my schedule and how I manage all of this. And Donald Lisa, I'll get to you in a second. So this is a typical day in my life. I wake up, did a little bit of exercise, start doing laundry, cleaning up, and responding to some emails. Prepare for my stream while laundry is doing, and then I got to finish this stream, go do a couple of things banking-wise, and I got to send some messages to people. Then I got to grab my bag, run out, hop in my car, drive to my truck, do all my circle checks, go pick up a load and all the paperwork, cross the border. I usually stop somewhere in New York State, pull over for a half hour to do a half-hour break. ELDs, it's a long story. So half-hour break, open up my laptop, start posting a bunch of stuff related to Not On Record, the podcast that I have tonight, just to do all the promo and get everything. Well, some of the promo, much of it was already done. And then close up my laptops, turn on the truck, keep driving, get down to New Jersey, figure out where to park the truck, and open up my laptop in the back, respond to a bunch of emails, do a bunch of work. I have a bunch of prep to do for Ottawa as well. Go to sleep, wake up I'll probably go to sleep at around, because I'll get there, 10 o'clock or something. I'll go to sleep at around 12 o'clock. I'll wake up, I'll set my alarm for 5. They'll start unloading me at 6, drive from one destination to another, switch trailers, drive back, do another half-hour break or an hour break in the middle of the day, get on my laptop, send emails, work on a bunch of other projects. We have this event coming up on Monday, tickets and all that sort of stuff. I got to send some graphics to some people. Then keep driving, arrive in Toronto at around 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow. That gives me about 4 hours to do some work tomorrow night. Go to sleep, wake up early, get in my car, grab coffee, drive to Ottawa, and speak at an event. So I'll have a couple of hours when I arrive in Ottawa, get settled, get prepared, go speak at an event in Ottawa, and then again, go back. I'm probably going to do some meetings and hanging out with people and reconnecting with people. Go to sleep and then wake up, meet with my lawyer that's going to be with me in Ottawa, spend all day doing preparation work, and then have also ancillary, there will be problems with the event that we need to figure out, and my assistant is helping me, and there's just that's my life. That's been my life for quite a while, actually. That was my life during the Freedom Convoy. So I'm kind of used to it. I like to pace myself, but I like to keep busy for obvious reasons. All right. So I hope Donald says, I hope Antifa doesn't show up at, I guess you're talking about my event on November the 2nd. I kind of hope they do. I would love to see. I'd just bring a PA to the comics, because there's a couple of comedians there, and just say, okay, guys, here's a mic. Go to town with the little shit rats who live in their parents' basement. Go have fun. I might come and show up, to Ottawa. I hope so. Donald, the cops assaulted people. Yes, they did. And everybody is trying to defer responsibility to somebody else. That's just the nature of how an incompetent bureaucracy works. When they were all basically saying, not my problem, during the entire time, which is why they started screaming at each other, because nobody wanted to take any responsibility. Liz, Trudeau was out protesting Iran, standing for their rights to protest while protecting the oppressors by hiding them in Toronto. Yeah, he's known. I mean, he's got Majid Johari, who is allegedly tied to the Iranian regime. He's an MP. And that's why Trudeau bowed down to Iranian regime. There's some 4-letter words I would describe them. After they shot down a plane full of Canadians, and our prime minister bows down to them. I'm like, no, you should be punching them in the head or grabbing them by their elbow like he did that woman in Parliament. Remember that? That's what he's a spoiled brat, right? He just does nothing, hides. Everybody else has to deal with it. And then if they don't, he just loses his temper and brings in the wrecking ball and screws up everything for everybody, because he is, if you can pardon my language, the world's biggest fuck up. And His father knew that. That's why he should be nowhere near politics. But he's an egomaniac, and that's what we have right now. So whatever. What is your thesis on your take on thesis closed doors in the commission? I don't know what they're going to say. I mean, yeah, we had some truckers, and they were having they had a hot tub and some barbecues and some parties. Okay. I mean, maybe that's why, because they don't want that to be on the record. I mean, it'll be on the record, but public, because they don't want the public outrage. Is that why? I don't know. No, national security. Like, they're so... The problem with people in the government bureaucracy, they're so full of shit, and we all know they're full of shit, and they're so far up their own rear end that they think that they are credible, and they think they're important. And I'm sorry, they're not. They're just not. And it's so frustrating. Maybe because I grew up that way with somebody in my home who worked for the government and kind of echoed those sentiments and frustrations my entire life. But it is what it is. Antifa have been commenting on their Twitter saying convoy are terrorists. Yeah, a bunch of violent communists call some hardworking truckers that allow those little weasels to get fed, call them terrorists. Oh, okay. Like, I mean, they're all these low testosterone beta males, and they suck. They really suck. I mean, I would have one question for them is, what is a woman? And really be confused, right? I should post that John Birch Society video, which basically outlines all their tactics, which comes from the Communist Directive. Okay, I'm on your pre-order list. Awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it, David. Looking forward to reading your book. Awesome, man. I promise you, I think it's amazing, and if there's any criticism, you'll let me know here, and or if there's any clarification, which is part of the reason I wanted to do the stream and the Substack, is so I can add further clarification to stories in the book, because I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions, and that's a good, this is a good vehicle for us to talk about it. Are you still planning on streaming the book launch? I'm actually going to find out today. So maybe not, just because there were some technical hurdles the last time. And now we've kind of had to find a second venue. And so maybe not. But there is something special in the works. So don't worry. But I probably... I don't know. There's so many things to deal with right now, and I got to deal with this whole commission testimony that's taken up a lot of bandwidth. So my assistant's doing her best; she's amazing, and but I gotta, I gotta. There's only so much bandwidth I got, right? So I will do my best, and if we can, I'll let you know. Donald Smith, what's the address to the event in Toronto? I don't remember the address offhand, but when you get a ticket, it'll show on the ticket what the address is. But I don't know. It's somewhere Midtown. Listen, I'll get my car. I'll press GPS. That's the address, and I'll go wherever it is. So, and by the way, if you haven't received access to a ticket, we'll see how many of them sell on the Locals platform. As I said yesterday, I don't think they'll all sell on the Locals platform. And the remainder will be putting out a link to people who subscribe to the Substack, and you'll be able to get tickets via there. So everybody's going to have the opportunity to buy tickets. I hope we don't run out, because it's a smaller venue than we originally started, but now we're going to do multiple venues, I think. So that's also still in the work. Speaking of Trudeau, sorry, I itch. Dr. David E. Martin exposed Trudeau for his possible conflict of interest, the University of British Columbia, and the development of the lipid nano particles technology, possible record. I don't know. I really don't know. You kind of gotta pick your space where you can focus on and what you do know. This gets really detailed with when it comes to the medical science behind all of it. And I'm of the opinion, and people don't like me to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Nobody knows. Anybody who claims they know, whether it's good or bad or whatever, they have no idea what they're talking about. Nobody knows. We won't know for years. We'll know in 10 years. In 10 years, when we have enough long-term data, then we'll be able to determine, okay, was this, a problem or not? And I think people are being pushed into echo chambers of silos to have opinions that, like when they talk about nanoparticles and lipid technology, I know nothing about that. So if somebody talks about it, I can't comment on it. Like, I really don't. And listen, I love science, and I was a little bit of a science nerd, but I don't know enough, and I know enough about science to know this is hyper level of speciality with new technology, and I just don't know. Right? I'm not saying good or bad or anything. I just want to focus on freedom, that everybody has the right to choose what they want, and everybody has the right to speak, and you have the right to ask those questions. Like, that's what we need. We need more talking, right? So, anyways, what's your take on January 28, 2023? The trucker anniversary round 2 coming or no? Oh, God, I hope not. They keep doing this. They've been trying to do this for people who worked as informants for the police because the government is desperate for a boogeyman to justify their actions. I keep telling people, just stop. Just stop. Let's go. Let's get this commission. Let's get a ruling, because there will be... Are they going to go to jail? No, they're not going to go to jail. No politician is going to go to jail. But will they be destroyed politically? Of course. Of course. So let's all calm down. We don't need convoys now. We don't need anything. We're good. We sent the message, and the government heard that loud and clear. I think that was pretty evident. What's your take on the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, the clowns who get the government money? That's run by a guy named Bernie Farber. I don't like Bernie Farber at all. I think he's a weasel. My personal opinion is he's a weasel and a liar, and he's a grifter, and he seems to be really good at attacking Jews, and that seems to be his speciality now, as he did against me as well. So I have no time for him, and there's nobody in the Jewish community, like a Jewish community. There's many. We're not a collective, right? It's not a collective. There's many different, Jewish groups. There's Hasidic ones, secular ones. It's like all religions. You have people who just have a different range of how they practice their religion, right? But he's a joke, as far as I don't know anybody who takes him seriously. I've never met anybody who takes him seriously, so it's funny that fake news media puts him on to write op-eds. I'm like, well, okay, I guess that's his right to speak. But the fact that it's government funded, I don't understand that. Because it's just it seems to behave like a public shaming organization is how they behave. Like, there's no advocacy. It's just targeting and public shaming. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really know much about it beyond some of the articles I've seen that they wrote about me. And I'm like, you know nothing about me. Like, you know nothing, like zero about me. But it is what it is. So I wish everybody well. I don't wish people harm. They can do what they want. I just wish there was less grifting and less targeting and attacking people. It is what it is. Sonia, there is a Pfizer whistleblower that said the vibes were glowing. The vibes were glowing? I don't know. That I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so the tickets are on Locals. If you're a supporter to the Locals community, honkingforfreedom.locals.com, then you will be able already to reserve tickets for November the 7th. Okay, we're working on other dates in other provinces and states in the U.S. As there's been interest. And the book's already done a bunch of pre-sales, and I want to, just a shout out to you for saying that you already ordered the book, David. And so there will be more to come, I promise. The commission this week, it's going to be starting, I think, with Slowly, if I'm not mistaken. They're still doing a little bit more testimony from Slowly, who's the former chief of police. Who got standing because he realized the entire political class was going to try to scapegoat him and throw him under the bus. That's at least my read on it. And then we start with people who are actually on the ground and involved in the Freedom Convoy. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a fiery week. There's going to be a little bit of spice going on this week. It should be quite interesting. And it should make a lot of people quite nervous. So it is what it is. Lisa, will there be an audio version of the book? Yes, 100%. I've been producing podcasts for a few years, so obviously, of course. It's just going to take some time because I didn't want to hire a narrator. I think audiobooks should be in the voice of the author, so I'm going to have to record it. And I'm about to start, just after the commission is when I'm going to start working on recording all the audio tracks for the audiobook. That will be released to coincide with another event, which will be in the near future. So yes, there will be, I promise. Okay, so the commission this week is everybody. If you have any questions about that, let me know. It's going to be interesting, I promise you. And I'm going to be, I think I may take my my mic here and my computer, and I may do these live streams from Ottawa, you know, before I testify, after. Like, I'll try to squeeze in when I have some time, because I'm sure you're all going to have questions about things that you see in the testimony. We'll all be watching it too. And, you know, when I'm up, I'm sure some of you will be watching as well. And I think maybe either a nighttime or the next time or next night or something, I'll schedule like a follow-up to my testimony so everybody can come in. And you can ask questions, and we'll talk about it, and it'll be lots of fun. And maybe we'll parallel it with a Twitter space or something. I don't know. Okay, a couple of questions and comments, and then we're going to, and then I got to get on the road. I got to get my laundry and then get on the road. First, David, excellent. My pleasure, man. That's what I'm here for. Okay, Donald, I'll get to that in a second. All right, so have you, first question and comment I got, ticket bought. Hey, Beth bought a ticket. I love you, Beth. You're the best. And I'm going to just tell you, I love you in text in the chat as a result. So thank you. That's in the locals comment box that I'm talking. There's a live chat in locals as well, if you're a subscriber there. So a couple of comments and questions that came in. So first, number one, have you thought about Bill C-11 and the next bills on the horizon? Yes, I have. There's only so many things I can address at one time. First, we got to deal with the Freedom Convoy. C-11 definitely could potentially impact me, given that, you know, I'm producing podcasts, and you're watching this on the National Telegraph, some of you, who I've established a really good relationship with those guys, and they're awesome. Daniel, Neil, and Wyatt, and the rest of them. So yeah, this is of a particular concern, and we'll have to address it and deal with it. Thank God that Mr. SpaceX, Rocket Man is the little guy in North Korea. Mr. SpaceX, thank God he bought Twitter. And I think that's now a concern for the government, because how are they going to deal with that issue? That's a problem. Hey, Hitch Hiker, what's up, brother? I haven't seen you in a while, man. Hope you're well. And I'm going to be testifying this week, by the way, man. So I'm going to be in Ottawa. I'm doing a run to the States in about an hour. And I'll be back late tomorrow night. And then I'm going to get my ass drive over to Ottawa and go speak at an event on November 1st, and then the fun begins. Testifying either the next day or the day after. Everybody's jumping in at once. Hey, Alyssa, how you doing? Let that sink in. Wyatt is a good person. Yeah, he is. You know, Wyatt means he's got a heart of gold, and he's I mean, we have a lot of differences of opinion on stuff, but we're both 100% on, you know, free speech, allowing us to engage in civil discourse, and speaking openly and honestly, and that's important. Hitchhiker, busy working. Good, man, because we all need to work. We're not professional activists. We're not Antifa. We're not unemployed. We're actually people contribute. Okay, so Bill C-11, yes, in the back of my head, something we need to deal with, but it is what it is, and we'll get to it. I know there's a lot of other people that are really vocal on it, and I thank them for it. Good morning, Alyssa. Okay, so next question that I got was, did Doug Ford just commit political suicide? He has been asked many times to appear before the commission, and now he has refused. The commission has now issued an order to attend the hearing, a summons, which I got as well. I thought that Gerald Butts and McGuinty were putting Ontario in the dump and then win. Okay, well, I guess, yeah, they're all part of the same thing, helping them out. That Doug Ford would be like that. Doug Ford would be like a god in Ontario. Okay. Oh, you're saying he's the opposite. Okay, I got that. When you cozy up to the devil, Doug, you go to the bowls of hell with them. Yeah, Doug Ford is more left-wing than Kathleen Wynne was. There is the rhetoric is there, and he sprinkles out some retail politics policies that everybody appreciates, like removing the license plate sticker nonsense in Ontario. Okay, that was great, but everything else you do is like communist China. So don't really care. Like you're not credible. And now even Prime Minister Blackface, the most racist prime minister to hold office in Canadian history. Even he, who was afraid of the big bad trucks, who hid in Ottawa, couldn't come out and whatever because he's a coward, even he is going to testify in the commission. So Prime Minister Blackface has more courage than Doug Ford. What does that tell you? There's clown world for you. But it is what it is. It shows he's just an actor and a fraud. And what are you going to do? He defended me about Luke from Press Progress because I was kicked out of the inquest. Donald, I have no idea what you're talking about, but if somebody defended you, great. Just tell me who that is. I have no idea. But and that's the other thing. Sometimes people on the other side do good things. We have to acknowledge that too. It's not like always echo chamber. This side good, this side bad. Like there's good in all of us. We're all Canadian. We just have differing worldviews, and some of us are very confused with this postmodern worldview, and that's the cancer that's spreading. But even those people, they think they're coming from a place of good and helping people, which is why it's even more dangerous. I was for Ford till he sell out before all of this. Sell hypocritical waste of space. Yeah, Doug Ford, very important. He called the Emergencies Act in Ontario 2 days before Trudeau. Did you know that? So he kind of laid the asphalt for Trudeau to come in and also do the Emergencies Act. I mean, if he just did the Emergencies Act with no one else, that would have been, it was catastrophic as it is, but it would have been even worse. But Doug Ford set the precedent of invoking the Emergency Measures Act for Ontario. So, okay, he's just as bad. And he did it before Trudeau. Anyways, is what it is. Okay, next question. And I'll get to your comments and then I got to run. I don't like to post on a post that is different than what I want to comment on. Okay, so I guess he was posting on something else. These are comments that came in. I think this one is either to Rumble or because I'm also streaming on Rumble. Honking for Freedom on Rumble is the channel. So I apologize to you, BJ. Well, thank you. But I listened to Freehand and the CBC about inflation. Very interesting in this commission. Have you noticed we haven't heard Justin Trudeau or Chrystia Freeland's name one time? Not once. Haven't even mentioned them. I've heard, I think, the Prime Minister's name in the context of communication, but that's it. Not one time. Not Chrystia Freeland, the person who blocked my bank accounts and my credit cards and everything that I had and tried to starve me. That lunatic. Haven't heard her name once. This was. So, anyways, Canada facing financial act of the COVID recession, Freeland says. At the very least, you can hardly hear what she says, and it doesn't come out in print. All right, so it wasn't released. So this is what it was. Final act of COVID-19 recession: 1, shutdown; 2, reopen; 3, accompanied by high inflation; 4, higher interest rates designed to bring down inflation. Yeah, this is what Canadians are in for under this corrupt Liberal NDP coalition. I think this is the political class. I think this is how our central banking system works. Like, people have to understand, this is kind of, I'm not going to get into Bitcoin territory, I just want to explain this. People don't realize, and Henry Ford addressed this in his comment, that if people understood how the financial system worked, there would be a revolt the next day. Well, maybe in the US, they're a lot more spirited than we are in Canada. We have a socialist financial system. Think about that. Our monetary system is socialist. It's not capitalist because it's not market forces, right? A free market, and I use that word capitalist, which I don't like to use. In a free market system, in a free market, the market dictates the trends. In a socialist system, a small group of people are the ones who think they can manipulate the switches and the interest rates, and they can determine the market forces. And they're looking at pricing signals, I guess, to try to get a sense of how they should raise and lower interest rates. That's not a free market. That is socialism. So I'm really frustrated with people all this time who look at our banking system and our financial system as though it's a free market system. It's not. It's not. And that's the problem. If we had a free market system, then we wouldn't have this manipulation where they're printing money like crazy while simultaneously increasing interest rates, which is crazy. That's never happened before, to crush the value of your house because our properties are grossly inflated or the value of our currency is deflated, depending on how you look at it. It's both, actually. And so they're trying to manipulate it. They got to stop manipulation. That's it. This is what happens when you have this centralized socialist system. This is what's causing the chaos in your life. A group of people who think, well, we can manipulate stuff. And no, just leave it to the free market. And that's what Bitcoin is. It's a free market system. Nobody controls it. The price is, okay, there's probably investment houses that try to manipulate the price by buying and selling large quantities. But they're very limited in scope in what they can do compared with the fiat system where it's all opaque and nobody sees it, right? In the Bitcoin system, it's all in a public ledger, so everybody can see it. That's what the Glassnode does. You go to Glassnode, and you can see all the trades and where people are buying, because it's all public. But you can't see that in the fiat system. And that's what's causing so much of our fiscal and monetary chaos. And that's why I became a proponent of Bitcoin quietly. Like, I kind of kept it to myself, just understanding what it is. I remember when I was a kid, maybe preteen, when I stopped watching like TV shows and started watching documentaries, I watched Bill Still's documentary called The Money Changers, which was, I believe, was like 79 or 80 that it was produced. And I guess it was a series, but I watched it in one long thing, so it was maybe a documentary that was split up. It's like 8 hours long. And it explained the history of our financial system and our monetary system, predominantly our monetary system, and how manipulated it is. And, they go in, the only thing I take issue with them was when they say, the Federal Reserve in the U.S. is a private entity. It's an agent of Congress. So, yes, there are banks that are shareholders in it, but it's kind of like a crown corporation in Canada. It's a little bit different. It's not quite a private thing. But anything. Kiss Junkie, good morning, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. I'm getting into boring stuff. I'm trying to explain that our financial system, our monetary system, is a socialist system, and that's why we have so much chaos. And that's why people, what are interest rates going to go up to? Because it's a group of small people who decide. Who the hell elected them to decide? I didn't. I want the market to decide what our interest rate should be. I don't want a group of clowns deciding, we're looking at the Phillips curve. And the Phillips curve, which is completely illegitimate, but the only thing we listen to, is telling us that we should increase interest rates. Like, it's mind-boggling. And hopefully Finance 2.0, which is what I call Bitcoin, will change that. And that's the future we're going into. Couple that with artificial intelligence, all the positives of it, and we're heading into, I think, the golden age. Okay, a couple things. I'm going to work backwards. So, Donald, do you think there's going to be a civil war in Canada? No, there's not going to be a civil war anywhere. Not in the U.S., not in Canada. Life is too good. Even with all the political bumps in the road, there's going to be no civil war. Look outside. Step outside. Like, I'm about to go outside down the street, I'll probably grab another coffee and breakfast and head over to my truck. And there's all different types of people around there. And you know what? They're awesome. We all get along. We may have differences of opinion, but we want everybody just to have a good day, sort of thing. There's no appetite for something like that in the modern world, right? I don't think people don't understand how much society has changed and how comfortable we all are, right? And who's going to fight the Civil War? It's not going to happen. Okay, so Sonia, I was thinking the same thing. They never say their name. They never say Trudeau's name, and they never say Freeland's name. I will be saying their name, as well as Doug Ford and a few other people. So, anyways, it is what it is. Laissez-faire capitalism is a kaput. Yeah, exactly. It's not, and I don't like capitalism. Why? Because capitalism was a word that was created by the Marxists to impugn negative emotions, or to tie negative emotions to the free market. Because the free market has the word freedom. The free is nothing but positive connotations, right? So they developed this word capitalism because technically capital is money. And it's another ism to use that as a pejorative and a smear. And I will not let communists use a smear against the free market. And that's what it is. And that's what we need. We need a free market. That's why we need the separation of money and state. That's what Bitcoin is. And I know people don't know technically how it works. So I'm not going to get into that. But that's what it is. That's what it eventually gives us. Alyssa, Trudeau is fat Trudeau. Yes, he is. He's fat Kathleen Wynne, fat Trudeau. He's fat something. And it's like really, go on a diet already, dude. Like, I'm sorry. And I'm not fat shaming. I really don't care. I've gained and lost weight my entire life. When I want to lose weight, I know how to do it. I go to the gym. I change my diet. I shed 20, 30 pounds. We can all do it. But he just looks like a fat hunk of... He looks like Jabba the Hutt, kind of. He looks like, Canadian Jabba the Hutt sort of thing. Like, he just looks horrible. He looks absolutely horrible. But... whatever. It is what it is. But it's not his looks that I care about. That's his business. Again, free market. You can do what you want. But his, I think he's crazy. I think he's good. I think his instincts might be different, but I don't know. But he is not to be trusted. And I'm hoping his political career will end around this commission, whether he goes or not. If he doesn't go, if he's too much of a coward to go testify when there's a summons, he has no business being in office. He just has no business. He needs to resign immediately. And I hope there's enough will within that party, because I know there's a lot of people that are fed up with him, that will say to him, hey, Doug, too much of a coward to show up to testify? Get out. That's what we need, a non-confidence vote. Hopefully they'll do that. But then there's other problems in that party too, but that's another story. The PM was protesting with the Iranian over the weekend. He was virtue signaling because at the same time, his brother, Crazy Eyes Trudeau, Sasha, used to work for Press TV, which is the Iranian regime, producing propaganda videos, Israeli apartheid propaganda videos. That's what that psychopath did. And I found out from a friend of mine, he used to have a cottage on the same beach as the Trudeaus, that, Sasha, Crazy Eyes, became just obsessed with the Iranian regime when, after the revolution, when he was a little kid. He was, like, amazed. And, his idiot father loved Castro. Like, they all love people who slaughter people. Like, what a dysfunctional family, right? And I guess Pierre Trudeau encouraged Sasha to, double down. And, that's great. That's great. They slaughter their people too. Go hang out with them. Like, a bunch of psychos. They're just crazy. Anyways, here's what it is. Good question. Alyssa, what happens if Ford denies a summon? I don't know. I have no idea. We are uncharted territory. That is definitely unparliamentary behavior. And can he be tossed from his own caucus for that? I don't know. But that I think that would be pretty serious, at least politically, but extremely damaging to him. So I don't know. I hope he doesn't. Let's find out, right? Either way, it's going to be funny. Whether he shows up, he doesn't show up, it'll be funny. And I'm just going to sit there with my popcorn or in my truck, drinking my coffee, listening to it, and giggling. So it is what it is. The term Fat Trudeau refers more about his method of operation than his looks. 100%. Agreed. But, I want to play around a little bit. Come on. We can all joke and play and not take things so seriously. We can all enjoy our life again, which is, again, that's what the 5-Minute Journal is about. And maintaining the positive frame and being able to joke. And you want to see a great joke? Look right behind me on this side. How the Prime Minister stole freedom. I mean, that is the best joke I've seen. It's really cute. It's adorable. So it is what it is. Okay, it's a couple more and then I got to run. Ford is fooked, whether he testifies or not. 100%. He's backed himself in a corner. Trudy says because he thinks the nuclear scare event will save him from doing so. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you're 100% correct. He's screwed either way, and he has only himself to blame for it. So it is what it is. The real truth regarding the Western central banking system began with the sinking of the Titanic. I've heard something about that just in passing. I don't really know, Rhonda, but could be. And what in the U.S., that's their third private central bank. Again, private central bank, but it's an agent of Congress. So it's not like a private company like everybody wants to say. It's a little bit more interwoven with the government and like a crown agency in Canada. Okay, listen, I have to run, but to get tickets to the event, honkingforfreedom.locals.com, and sometime in the next couple of days, that link will then be shared with people who subscribe to the Substack, which is bjdichter.substack.com. All those links should be in the description anyways if you want to get them. And then honkingforfreedom.com to pre-order the book. And if you're in Ottawa, I will be there on the 1st of November speaking at a Bitcoin event, hanging out, speaking, talking, whatever it is. Be kind of casual, be beer and pizza and chilling out and hanging out, my type of place. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then testifying, and then on the 7th will be the first book launch event, and there's a whole bunch of them in the works now. So if you're in out west, then we're actually looking at something out west and trying to put it together for the first week of December, I think is when we're trying to do it. So that would be the event out west, and then one in Quebec as well, so which is awesome to be able to go see people in both those distinct cultures, because Western culture is very distinct in my opinion, and to be loved and admired, by the way. So to be on both ends of it, I'm very excited to meet all of you and meet you all, shake your hands and hug each other, and celebrate our freedoms and work forward to expanding our freedoms in the future. And I'm going to do my best in the commission to help push that forward. So I promise you I will. I'll try not to crash and burn. Okay, I got to run. And Donald Smith, World War III or no? Nope, we are in World War III, and World War III is not a hot war. It is a culture war, and it's much better to have a culture war than a hot war. And I think the side of truth is going to win. And by when I mean truth, I mean the side of objectivism is going to win. And it's just going to take a little time. And it might even take a generation. So anyways, Alyssa won't make it. Virtual hugs. Thank you. Where are you, Alyssa? Let me know, because, well, you'll see on the honkingforfreedom.com, we may end up having a venue close to you, whether it's in the U.S. or Canada or whatever. But we'll get through that at some point. I love you all. Thank you very much. You're all the best. And remember, be kind to people. I'm going to go to my local coffee shop, and I'm going to joke around with the girls and the owner who's there, like always. Hamilton, you're close. So I'm going to be driving by you in about an hour when I'm in my truck. I'll be on the QEW headed for the border. So I will wave to you, Alyssa. Hitch Hiker, thanks, brother. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Donald, Oshawa. And we'll all get together soon. But remember, I'm going to go to the coffee shop. I'm going to joke and play around and just talk for a couple of minutes, make everybody have a great day. And that makes me feel better. It makes them feel better. And if we're all doing that, the world is going to change. And it's going to be better for all of us. All right, everybody. I love you all. And I won't be doing a stream tomorrow because I'll be in Jersey at the ports with some very interesting people down there. I gotta